Evening students, in today's class I am going to start with the new chapter, that is nuclei. So nuclei is the plural form of nucleus. Then now Rutherford's alpha scattering experiment led to the discovery of nucleus. Okay, now here nucleus is positively charged. Why the nucleus is positively charged? Because the nucleus contains protons and neutrons. Protons positively charged but neutrons are neutral, that is why the nucleus is positively charged. Means the charge on the nucleus that depends on the number of protons present in the nucleus. Then how to find the charge on the nucleus? See, let us start the new chapter, that is nuclei. Then how to find the charge on a nucleus? Charge on a nucleus. Charge on a nucleus can be determined by plus Zd. Then what is Z indicates here? The Z indicates the number of protons present in the nucleus, and plus E is the charge on a proton, where Z is number of protons. Number of protons, otherwise it is called atomic number, and also it is called atomic number. Next, what about plus E? Plus E is charge on a proton. Charge on a proton. And its value is about 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. But an atom is electrically neutral. Why an atom is electrically neutral? Because an atom consists of equal number of protons and electrons. Then how to find charge on an atom? Q is equal to Q plus means it is charge on the number of protons present in the atom. Then that is equal to, plus. Q minus is the total charge present on the total number of electrons. So Q plus can be written as plus Ne, and Q minus can be written as minus Ne. Here plus E indicates that charge on a proton, and minus E indicates that charge on an electron. Then the number of protons and the number of electrons both are equal in a neutral atom, hence these two get cancelled. The total charge on an atom is 0, but the total charge on a nucleus can be determined by plus Zd, and it is always positively charged. For example, let us consider charge on hydrogen nucleus. Example, charge on hydrogen nucleus. I will write QH. QH means here charge on hydrogen nucleus. Plus Z into E. How many protons present in hydrogen? Only one proton present in hydrogen. So Z can be replaced by 1, then it is plus E. Plus E means it is 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. It is the charge on the hydrogen nucleus. Then what about charge on helium nucleus? That is plus 2 into E, because 2 protons present in the helium nucleus. That is why that is plus 2 into E. Hence, this is the formula used to find the charge on a nucleus. Now, types of nuclei. There are 3 types of nuclei. What are those? Isotopes, isobars and isotones. What are isotopes? These are the nuclei with the same atomic number but different mass numbers. Then what are isobars? These are the nuclei with same mass number but different atomic number. And what about the isotones? Isotones are the nuclei with the same neutron number but different mass numbers or atomic number. Now, how to represent a nucleus? A nucleus can be represented by this symbol X, A, Z, and this is A minus of Z. Here, X represents the given chemical element. This represents the given chemical element. Then Z is the atomic number, means the number of protons present in the nucleus. Atomic number. And A minus Z is neutron number. The total number of neutrons present in the nucleus. That is called neutron number. And A is mass number. A is mass number. Then what about mass number? It is the total number of nucleons present in the nucleus. Then how to find the total number of nucleons present in the nucleus? So we can determine A is equal to Z plus N. We can determine the mass number by the formula A is equal to Z plus N. Z is the atomic number and N is the neutron number. The sum of atomic number and neutron number that gives the mass number, and it is also called the total number of nucleons present in a nucleus. Now next one. Next one, the size of a nucleus. Size of a nucleus. So size of a nucleus means we are going to consider three sizes, means radius, area and also volume. Then radius of a nucleus. Radius of a nucleus. So radius of a nucleus is directly proportional to a raised to 1 by 3. R is directly proportional to a raised to 1 by 3. In order to remove this proportional, we are going to use proportionality constant. That is R is equal to R naught into a raised to 1 by 3. R naught into a raised to 1 by 3. Then what is the value of R naught? The value of R naught is 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. What is the value of R naught? 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. And also it is taken as 1.2 per me. So because 10 to the power of minus 15 meter is 1 per me. So, and also we can write this one as 1.2 per me. 1.2 per me. So what is the value of 1.2 per me? That is 1.2 into 10 to the power of minus 15 meter. And now if two nuclei are given, so we have to find the ratio of radii of those two nuclei. Then how to find them? So see here, R1 by R2. So it is the radius of the first nucleus and R2 is the radius of the second nucleus. Then R0 into mass number of the first nucleus. So A1 raised to 1 by 3 divided by R0 into A2 raised to 1 by 3. A2 raised to 1 by 3. Here R0 get cancelled. Now it is A1 by A2 whole to the power of 1 by 3. Whole to the power of 1 by 3. It is the formula used to find the ratio of radii of two nuclei. The ratio of radii of two nuclei. A1 is the mass number of first nucleus and A2 is the mass number of second nucleus. Radius depends on the mass number. And how the radius is related to mass number? The radius is directly proportional to the cube root of mass number. Cube root of mass number. Next one, surface area of a nucleus. Surface area of a nucleus. Surface area of a nucleus. Here, nucleus is assumed to be spherical in shape. Then what is the formula for surface area of the sphere? That is 4 pi r square. S is equal to 4 pi r square. Then what is R? R is nothing but a radius of the nucleus. Then we can write 4 pi r naught into a raised to 1 by 3 square. A raised to 1 by 3 square. See here, 4 pi r naught square into a to the power of 2 by 3 into a to the power of 2 by 3 means surface area is directly proportional to a to the power of 2 by 3. Surface area is directly proportional to a to the power of 2 by 3. Okay. Then in order to find the ratio of surface areas of two nuclei, so we are going to use the formula, that is S1 by S2 is equal to A1 by A2 whole to the power of 2 by 3. Whole to the power of 2 by 3. This is the formula used to find the ratio of surface areas of two nuclei if their mass numbers given. Okay. Next one, volume of a nucleus. What is the volume of the sphere? That is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Volume of a nucleus. That is V is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube. Pi r cube. Okay. What is R here? R is radius of the nucleus. 4 by 3 pi. Already we know that. What is the expression for radius of a nucleus? That is R naught into a raised to 1 by 3. R naught into a raised to 1 by 3. Now, we can write 4 by 3 pi r naught cube into, so cube root get cancel, hence it is a. Now volume of a nucleus is directly proportional to mass number. Volume of a nucleus is directly proportional to a means here mass number. Then in order to find the ratio of volumes of two nuclei, so we are going to use the formula, that is V1 by V2 is equal to A1 by A2. So this is all about the size. Then what about nuclear density? So the nuclear density is independent of mass number, means nuclear density is same for all the nuclei. Nuclear density is same for all the nuclei. That is why the ratio of nuclear density is always 1:1. So this is very important point. Nuclear density is independent of mass number. Independent of mass number. Independent of mass number means we can write nuclear density is directly proportional to a to the power of 0. So a to the power of 0 means here it is independent of mass number. Okay, means the nuclear density is same for all the nuclei. That is why the ratio of nuclear density of two nuclei is always 1:1. The ratio of nuclear densities is always 1:1. Is always 1:1. Okay, because nuclear density of first nucleus and nuclear density of second nucleus both are same. Both are same means here we will get the answer is 1. Then 1 can be written as 1:1. And what is the value of nuclear density? Nuclear density value is 2.3 into 10 to the power of 17 kg per meter cube. kg per meter cube. kg per meter cube is the unit of density now. Okay. Now the nuclear density is 2.3 into 10 to the power of 14 times of the nuclear density of water. 10 to the power of 14 times of density of water. So what is the value of density of water? That is 10 to the power of 3 kg per meter cube. See here, I will write this one as 2.3 into 10 to the power of 14 into 10 to the power of 3 kg per meter cube. kg per meter cube. 10 to the power of 3 kg per meter cube is density of water. Means the nuclear density is 10 to the power of 14 times of density of water. So remember this point. Nuclear density is 10 to the power of 14 times of density of water. Density of water. This is very important point. Remember this point. Okay. Now let us move to the next point, that is energy. Okay, energy in case of nuclear physics. Einstein's mass energy relation. What is Einstein's mass energy relation? That is E equal to mc square. Einstein's mass energy relation. According to Einstein, mass and energy both are interconvertible. Means mass can be converted into energy and energy can be converted into mass. So what is Einstein's mass energy relation? See here, E equal to mc square. E is equal to mc square. What is the value of C? That is 3 into 10 to the power of 8 meter per second. Now next, that is nuclear binding energy. Nuclear binding energy. Nuclear binding energy. So what is nuclear binding energy? It is the average energy required to separate all the nucleons from the nucleus. Okay. So what is the nuclear binding energy? It is the total energy or average energy required to separate all the nucleons from the given nucleus. Now, what is the expression for nuclear binding energy? So, nuclear binding energy can be represented by EB. Then EB is equal to delta M into C square, delta M into C square. In terms of electron volt, we will get delta M into 931.5 mega electron volt. See here, what is delta M? So, delta M is nothing but mass defect. This mass defect can be converted into energy, okay, where delta M is equal to the sum of protons and neutrons in free state, the sum of total mass of the protons and neutrons in free state, Z into Mp plus A minus of Z into Mn. So, what is Z? Z is the total number of protons present in the nucleus, and Mp is mass of a proton. Next, A minus of Z, it is the total number of neutrons present in the nucleus, and Mn is the mass of each neutron minus mass of the nucleus, actual mass of the nucleus. So, this is the formula used to find the mass defect. And see here, in case of nuclear physics and atomic physics, for the measurement of mass, we are going to use the unit that is atomic mass unit. In nuclear physics or atomic physics, mass can be measured in atomic mass unit. So, what is the value of one atomic mass unit? That is 1 U is equal to 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg, 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. In order to convert atomic mass unit to kg, we have to multiply 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 27 kg. Then, in order to convert kg to atomic mass unit, we have to divide 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 27. Okay, see here. In order to convert kg to atomic mass unit. So, 1 by 1.66 into 10 to the power of minus 27 atomic mass unit. So, remember these two. Okay. So, this is for the conversion of atomic mass unit to kg, and this is for the conversion of kg to atomic mass unit. Now, let us move to the next point, that is specific binding energy, and also it is called binding energy per nucleon. So, what is specific binding energy or binding energy per nucleon? It is the average energy required to separate one nucleon from the nucleus, one nucleon from the nucleus. Specific binding energy, and also it is called binding energy per nucleon, binding energy per nucleon. Then, what is binding energy per nucleon or specific binding energy? It is the average energy required to separate one nucleon from the nucleus. See here, that is specific binding energy can be represented by EBS, that is equal to the average binding energy divided by mass number, EB by A. Okay. So, this average specific binding energy is maximum for iron. That is why iron is the most stable nucleus. Which is the most stable nucleus? Iron. Iron is the most stable nucleus. Most stable nucleus because of its specific binding energy. Its specific binding energy is nearly about 8.75 mega electron volt. Average specific binding energy or the specific binding energy of iron is about 8.75 mega electron volt. So, this is the maximum value for the iron, that is why iron is the most stable nucleus. Okay. So, this is all about the energy in case of nuclear physics chapter. Now, next one, fission, nuclear fission and nuclear fusion. What do you mean by fission? Fission means here a heavy fragments, means a heavy nucleus breaks up into two lighter nuclei or the two nuclei with the comparable masses with the release of energy. Then what do you mean by fusion? So, fission occurs in heavy nuclei, but fusion occurs in light nuclei. So, what is fusion? Fusion is nothing but it is the combination of two lighter nuclei to form a single nucleus. Okay. So, this is fusion. So, next class we are going to solve the exercise questions related to the nuclei.